Hello, greetings, and welcome to another BNDBH Saturday night. This is Kev. As you walk into this broadcast, please like this video. And if you are new here to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you to all my new subscribers and my existing. And yeah, I've been getting plenty of new subscribers lately. And it's going to be quite the interesting road to 4K subscribers. Now, I did originally have this broadcast entitled something else, but due to various reports, I wasn't real sure that I should do that show because this is a channel called Black Men Being Brutally Honest. And I do believe, although that we have a ways to go as far as our presence on social media, we have to be honest here. It's like originally this show was going to center around, the doctor's report that Megan Thee Stallion's foot was injured on glass and how far some people will go to carry a lie, and the Gail King interview and everything, but those reports they're sketchy and they're being debunked. So I don't want to come up here and do this whole spiel on how these women be lying, and I'm very unsure about it. I want the information to be correct and accurate, because then it just seems like that we're using this space here, this black manosphere, just to what do what they say that we do, and we just hate women. And I don't believe that this space is centered around hating women and resenting women, because of certain things. I mean, yes, go ahead and resent them for what we've been observing for the past 2 weeks, and shit, really the past few years, as a matter of fact. But it just can't be so blatant as to take our eyes off the ball. I mean, this is about being brutally honest. And this is why I believe that the people who regularly tune into these live broadcasts respect me. And I hope you guys understand, just why exactly I would have to change this if I wasn't so sure. Uh, so let's see who's in the building already. Phil Brad, what's going on? Destro 0861, what's going on? Were you talking about the intro? Shoot. That's a guy named Lakey Inspired. He makes lo-fi beats, and they're copyright free. I went searching on YouTube uh, for that music, and I just picked out what I thought was the coolest. So, see, I'll put the. I mean, you can look it up yourself. Not sure what Roman numeral that is. Said, is this a KS private dancer tribute? LOL. Not mad at it. No, it's not. Hybrid catastrophic impact X83rd power. What's going on, man? Yeah, but yeah. Here's the thing. Misandry and victimhood is a problem that black men have to deal with, and it's really because we've backed them into a corner, I believe, and and it's gonna continue to happen. And is there any way that we can reverse this huge social problem that we're having? I don't know at this point. Because let's just, if we were to keep it within black men, what we have to do as a group of men is, deal with our own internal problems themselves, like, the simping that's been going on, the apathy for black male problems, the HNIC complex, which uh, these were problems that are pretty much after the misandry in the WS media that is shown by B Dubs. And really, at the same time, these are late problems, meaning that the we didn't understand that this was a problem until it was too late. So really, black men have to, as a group, uh, we have to start working on our unity. Um, because if we don't, this is going to become an even worse problem, even for the Gen Zs and the newly Generation Alpha. I mean, Gen Z is already like they've already discarded race loyalty. I mean, if you don't believe it, look at some of the things that you see in the media today, and look at some things that you observe in your everyday lives. Uh, Gen Alpha is. I'm pretty optimistic about Gen Alpha. I believe that they might actually do it better than us, and it's just from what I've seen in the personalities of the younger kids, and especially my little girl. It does give me hope that they can do it better than us because they're not as exposed to the BS as we are. So, me, yeah. So, just want to put that little tidbit in you guys' ears. Tomorrow night, uh, let me just tell you about tomorrow night. Will hopefully be my final Kevin Samuel show. Um, because it's like this, guys. He passed away, and we're gonna have to put him to rest. I'm not like these other content creators. Some of these too cool for school guys. I just have to, for myself. I have to put it to rest, but I still have to address the hatred that the man receives and how despicable that hatred is. And it's like, so that's the show for the Any Given Sunday portion of the 3 day uh, the 3 day event that I have every weekend. And I mean, it just, guys, just listen up. It's I mean, it's a part of the whole thing that is not being addressed, especially by certain content creators. So we'll deal with that tomorrow night. But yeah, let me pull up this poll. It was a question that I asked on Facebook like a couple years ago, and it was people really, especially females, really got mad with me about it. And I can give a damn about people getting mad with me when I share certain truths. So look, just always look out for my community tab where I do various posts and polls. So the question was, do any of you know of a successful single mother neighborhood anywhere in America that isn't supported by a celebrity, professional athlete, or government institution? I don't think one exists, but I could be wrong. That poll has received 168 votes, and as you can see up on the screen, the answer is overwhelming no by 98%, and yes is at 2%. Now, what I was hoping, but I knew I wouldn't get too much of an answer. I was hoping that I could, you know, that anybody that voted yes could explain to me why would they vote yes on something like that. But it's like if you support the notion that there are such neighborhoods that's in existence, you should be more than happy to explain. But this is a question that I have been asking for 5 years, and I have yet to receive a straight answer when someone says yes. But they usually say shit like, "I'm sure they exist," or something like that, or they respond to me about where's your evidence that they don't. I'm like, look, life is a teacher for me. Every time that I go to a neighborhood overrun by single moms, um, they are never successful. They're never peaceful. They are never clean. They're ridden with crime. I mean, yeah, for real, crime, drug use, drug dealing, early pregnancy is just a shame. And the denominator in each one of them is it was lacking in male leadership, strong, positive male leadership. When you go to the two parent neighborhoods, they're different. They have a tendency to be a bit quieter. The lawns are mowed, they're clean, they're free of the criminal element. is the differences are night and day, and why would anyone argue with that? The main argument is always we need the father in the home, and I'm sorry, with me and the age that I am, I've seen the differences in the two. I've hung out in both. I mean, even with the older communities where there were two parents that was in existence, there always is always a certain mentality that goes with those versus them. Also, I used to get the response of, well, what about the white ones? What about the single white moms? And my response always to that would be, trailer parks. They're not much better either. But at the end of the day, when we're over here, which community do we care about more? This is what I try to get our people to see. I mean, I care a lot more about the direction that our people are going in as opposed to the direction that other races are going in. Why would I care about other races? And then the people who would bring this shit up, they didn't care about other races anyway. It was just a straw man. Is just a straw man to get away from the actual conversation. Why would we feel ashamed? I mean, if we do feel ashamed, why can't we be the change? We're so ashamed that we bring other races into the conversation. Other races ain't really studying us like that. But, but I mean, I'm really wondering about that 2%. Is it just someone who is just hanging on their emotions and saying, "Hey, I'm sure one exists out there. I'm just going to vote yes because I don't want this to be the narrative." I mean, it's not really a narrative. If you look like say any housing project, shit, any overrun West Side type of mentality, you can see you can clearly see what the case is. You clearly see what the situations are. So, I mean, it's not much of an argument that you can put up. And then when I say supported by celebrity, professional athlete, or government institution, I mean the government institution, that doesn't really help anyway. It's because I mean, when it seems like whenever we get support from the government, there's not much maintenance on that. It goes pretty unchecked, and it ends up falling by the wayside anyway. So, how do y'all feel about that in the comment section? Mm. Let's see. Bunker TV, what's going on? See y'all having y'all own little conversation down there. Let's see what's going on. Anthony Drosos, what's going on? Shoot, thank you all for showing up and listen up, guys. Like I said, just go ahead and hit that like button as you walk into this place. And for anyone that may be watching from the clouds, if it's your first time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Yep, crazy world that we live in. Crazy world. Um, yeah. About the Misandry though, what sparked this? What sparked this misandry? Uh, I really think about it, and I don't want to make that as simple as what goes on in WS media. But if you talk about the present day, a lot of what goes on is because of WS media. I mean, our acceptance of certain narratives just because they have the financial backing and the financial muscle that a lot of us as black men don't have. If we control it financially, we could probably take a little bit more of a foothold in how we're viewed and how we're seen. But we don't, unfortunately, and people are so enamored by the almighty dollar is whatever comes from that, our people especially are willing to accept it. Is so if there is a misandrous theme in our media, then that's what most people are going to go for. You're going to have a bunch of females co-signing with it just because it is wrapped up in a pretty package, and you're going to have guys that's pretty much going to be apathetic to it because the the way that a lot of us try to express our manhood is through the validation that people with pussies give us, and that's really a bad thing at the end of the day. Uh, Sometimes, with us, once we start to get it figured out, that they start twerking their way through it, and then we forget, we forget, you know, w- what brought us to that chain of thought. But for some of us, it's for some of us, I believe we aren't falling for it anymore. We aren't falling for it. It's just it has created the mentality that has us, many of us, believing that we should depart this place. We should depart this so-called community and just go for self. Now, believe me, when I say this, uh, this was one of the last things I wanted. This is one of the last things that I really did not want to resort to just because the mentality of our people, is I come from a place where I've seen so much of how it got to this point, to the point where I just wish that our resiliency would kick in and for us to see our way through it. And it doesn't. If that does happen, it's going to happen on a much smaller scale. I'm afraid because some of us have gone for the division. Others of us want to rely on other groups of people to bring us through. You can really see it in the way a lot of us vote. Is a shame. It is a shame that we don't look out for our best interests. And the reason why is because we're being led by a misandrous culture. Now, a lot of black men will not admit to this, that this is a problem. We just kind of like stick our chest out and then we just do this whole, we just do this whole, well, I'm not worried about it. It's of no object to me. You know, it, shoot, we need to be worried about other things. I mean, we need to be worried about other things. That right there very well could be the truth for those of us who don't see a future in this ADOS FBA melanated culture. Because before I went on the air, I was hearing about this shooting in Buffalo, which is wow. Is like that. That's one of the first attacks that I'm hearing on black people by white supremacists in a while. Yeah, because I was almost myself beginning to believe that with so much hatred amongst us and under a female connotation that they wouldn't even need to do this to us, but I mean due to the mass shooting in Buffalo, which I believe left 10 people dead. uh, I have to go back into that thought process. And you know what? That's a shame that it takes something like that to happen to get me back on that. Well, get us as a people back on that other page, because we've been so focused on getting at each other's throats to the point where we really can't get on code when things like that happen, and it's really is a shame. And I mean, it is what it is. So I might cover that in a news story, the Buffalo shooting, once more details come out. But it really is a tragic thing because uh, somebody's mother, somebody's son, they lost their life in that. Somebody's daughter, maybe. I mean, I don't know the genders and the archetype of the victims, but I know that the shooter has claimed to be a white supremacist. Yeah, but okay, getting back to the topic itself, one thing that I want you guys to understand about the misandry that goes on in our community, and just the victimhood, it comes from a place of hatred. It comes from a place of hate, self hatred. I mean, I understand that these are attacks that are used on, well, verbal social attacks that are used on black men. Like we just hate ourselves, we hate our mothers and such. But these attacks, this misandry, really comes from a place of self hate and projection, because it's like the answer. It seems like the answer for them and how they feel about themselves. You know, it's to point the finger and place the blame on the men for, I don't know, whatever reason. They say that it's our fault because there's always something that's our fault, and yeah, yeah, it's just kind of gross. It's kind of gross, and I don't want to see people who hate themselves be a part of our group. Shit. I mean, this thing that's against the males all of a sudden is highly unnecessary. And I mean, it's just when I mentioned the media earlier, it's to the point where is it as simple as movies that came out and books and literary works, like The Color Purple. The belief that if a female washes more than two dishes, she becomes enslaved by her, her so-called quote unquote alpha black man in the house, or there is something wrong with every kind of archetype of black man that is out there. And that's just straight up foolishness at the end of the day. So look at some of these comments. Anthony Drosso says, heck, they don't know what misogyny means either. Misogyny, from what I understand, is an absolute hatred for women coming from males. That's what I understand. Let's see what Hybrid has to say. Hybrid Catastrophic Impact X83rd Power says, things are so horrible in the African American community. Never in history have I seen so many B dubs praise the death of a black man. It's heartbreaking, but I'm no longer surprised. Hell, shit, before that, it was that Christian Omaselling guy. The guy that was from Nigeria that had the Insta Thought girlfriend, and he made those tweets a few years ago, well, about 10 years ago, saying how he couldn't deal with the B dub and the behavior, and he ends up getting stabbed by his white girlfriend. But then before that, it was George Floyd. And a lot of the shit from George Floyd came from the fact that around that same time, Breonna Taylor happened. But um, a lot of these little feminists who I would always say don't really care about, you know, black women per se, even if they are black, they don't really care. It's just that they think that this thing is a whole competition with men. And the one thing that I always try to emphasize is the reason why George Floyd got so much attention was the fact that it was recorded. Peter Frank says 10 black people are killed by white supremacists today in Buffalo, and you black men are still talking about KS. Uh, Look, I just talked about the Buffalo shooting. Were you here? I mean, I literally just talked about that. This is why I just don't like out, people, this is why I just don't like people trying to manage the conversation from the outside. And I am going to do a report on it just when, like, a lot of the facts come out. Everything is still sketchy. But yeah, it is a white, it was an attack by a white supremacist. And it's something that needs to be paid attention to. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, the whole KS situation is like, it, look, it's really a reflection and an embarrassment on our people. And in order to get to the parts where we have to do something about WS, we have to fix the mentality within ourselves. And a lot of people don't understand that. It's like people, we change the mentality, we can move forward. I mean, these guys said this nigga trying to manage shit from the back seat. Yeah, I mean, but we as black men, we're going to get that kind of flack because a lot of people expect us to take the lead without, first getting out of our way in order for us to be able to do that. Start your own channel. Yeah, I had to tell somebody that last week. you know, I said if you want the conditions, if you want the conditions that you want to happen, start your own channel. I'm not gonna tell you who that is though. Yeah, yeah, but you know, it's it's my attempt is my attempt to try to get us, you know, into the mindset of having to move forward from this so-called quote unquote gender war, this gender banging, but there has to be a level of accountability. And my deal is like we as black men, we can be accountable, but they have to be accountable as well. So you said now that I agree with separation is necessary. But you know, what kind of separation are we talking about here? Now, Black Guru said something the other night about legal separation, meaning that I believe the context was that black men now have to focus on becoming our own group of people. I mean, because they most certainly established that they are their own group of people, and there have been power moves on their part. And when I say they, the B Dub, there have been power moves on their part that that they have established to become a separate group of people with a separate set of concerns. Now, Vivica is on the thumbnail for the night's broadcast, which um, the part about KS I'll talk about tomorrow night. But just remembering that Fox Soul interview with Ice Cube, with the whole cocktails and queens or whatever they're called, or cocktails and failed bitches or whatever. Uh, Ice Cube introduced this contract with Black America, just basically as a way of selling our vote to either political party. And that was the one thing that Cube was trying to get us to see. It was basically um, stop giving our vote away. Make sure that there's going to be certain provisions in place for black people. And these ladies, with Vivica Fox leading the charge, they asked him, it's like, what about the things for black women? It's like black women we have our own set of concerns. And, Ice Cube was like, well, black people would include black women. And really, from what I remember about that entire interview was a mess. And, attacking somebody just because you believe that, he sold out to the Republicans or he talked to Trump or something like that. And the way they treated him was just horrible. So it was so that right there was one of the points in history where I believe that black men were starting to wake up a bit more to that misandry. It was like, why? Because I was like, I knew there was kind of a divide, but I thought that black people would include B dubs. And ugh, see some of these comments. Rael said, for all the brothers who voted for Biden over Trump, who had a dollar figure on the table, how do you feel now that the administration hasn't talked to Ice Cube yet? I mean, I tell you how I feel. It's like, Rael, I'm not real surprised about that. I knew that I mean, if you looked at the first 60 days of Biden in office and how he went ahead and rushed to sign two pieces of legislation for other groups of people and not necessarily blacks, Man, that should have told you everything you need to know. The first one was I don't know if it's in this order, but the first one I'll bring up is the Stop Asian Hate Bill. Basically, they were saying like Asian Americans were being attacked, so they put some legislation in place to protect them. And look, nothing wrong with protecting another group of people, but at the same time, uh, you had all these Negroes dancing in the street, talking about riding with Biden, and they were all happy that Biden became president, and we got nothing for that shit. The second one, of course, was what they called the most progressive LGBTQ bill in the history of America, which basically said that if you are a dude transitioning to a girl, that you can play sports with girls. And it's a lot of guys were just like they were like hands off on that one. They were like hands off. They was like, okay, equality. And you know what? The only thing is about that one in particular is that if my daughter started to play sports, that's my only issue with that. I'm sitting up there laughing at the feminists for stupidly supporting something that set them back and was harmful to them. And I was like, well, that's what y'all asses get. But my daughter, she's starting to look like she's pretty athletic, and she might want to be able to do some, play some sports one day. And she and whatever sport she's in, I don't want her getting smoked by somebody who used to be named Tyrone. And one of the things is about that particular deal, and that I don't like is like these guys will call themselves transitioning, and they couldn't hack it in the sport with other males. So at the end of the day, it's really a mockery of humanity. But the fact that you had a presidential administration, like I said, black people acting like, oh, we're free. We got the president that we want. We got a real president who has a declining mental state like none other. Like he is like this motherfucker got one foot in the grave. It's like if you listen to him talk sometimes, it's like, wow, we really voted for this? I mean, I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for him at all. But it's like when a black man such as Ice Cube, I mean, he's had success and he really tried to help. It was just very disappointing for me to just observe that. And I believe that it was very disappointing for many of us to have observed that. Ryan was like, how did that polls to the polls work out, fellas? Any free trips to the strip club after the election? Yeah, I think what you meant was get your booty to the polls. The Longo Savage was going on. We got indigenous TV in the house as well. What it is that Rael, the only thing that millennial and Gen Z females are extra crazy. Hybrid catastrophic impact X83rd Power says Vivica Fox over there with her face looking like a melting candle. And it's like she's extreme, like, I guess because of her failed dating life or whatever. I don't, whatever. But is she's so bitter, and the fact that they give these women like that platforms, it kind of makes you wonder: is there some kind of agenda going on? See, indigenous TV. I don't concern myself with voting. More war wages on in a spiritual battle. Behind the rough talk and unfiltered views, I'm a young man of Yah out here daily trying to be salt and light. Truck Turner, what's going on? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what good is like voting, and the Bible is two things that we were brought up with that I don't know. It just doesn't seem like, and I mean, like, I'm not trying to criticize the beliefs of people. I respect your beliefs, but what good has either one of them done? Foxhole with cocktails with the queens. Yeah. Yeah, but I had some prepared for the night's broadcast, but like I said, I had to change it just in light of certain things. I didn't believe in I didn't believe in the info that I was about to give, so it was just that I had to switch it up real quick. But yeah, a mass shooting of a white supremacist against a black person, that's something that we haven't seen in a long time. I mean, Dylan Roof. No, no. Let me change that. We haven't seen it since Dylan Roof. I mean, now it's like, we is a church now it's a supermarket. Um, I guess that I have to encourage us to arm ourselves. Gentleman rated says I didn't like or trust Trump, but he wanted to be the law to fish. But he wanted a law to officially outlaw the KKK. Is that for real? That must have been some information that was suppressed by the media quickly. I mean, the one of the telltale signs is it's like this. I don't care if a politician does not like me. It's not their job to like me, but it is their job to do what's best for the people. And black people should have been concerned with what was best for blacks. Now, I will say this about Trump is like, how many times have you seen Biden actually sit down with black people? And the attitudes we had about Trump sitting down with black folks, what do we call those black people? We called them coons, we called them sellouts. I mean, we said that it was just a photo opportunity to try to pilfer the black vote. Now, with Biden, have you seen any of that at all? I haven't. I mean, I mean, you can look at the appointment of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson as forward motion. I just kind of see it as virtue signal because I mean, let's see. Rael said, "I trust Trump more than the old DC crack who's been in office over 50 years." Exactly. This man has had a 50-year career, and nobody's looking at that shit. Nobody looked at that. I will tell you. I'll tell you why people really wanted Biden is because he was Obama's vice president. Obama nostalgia. Anthony Drossos. WS are becoming too damn brave these days. Back in the 80s, I learned Kung Fu because all of the WS in my town were training at the local karate dojo. But that was the 80s. Oh, yeah, we had them running scared. Like, especially in Alabama, man, we had them motherfuckers scared to even blink wrong our way. But it seems like their fear became retroactive. They didn't. They're no longer afraid to express themselves because black people ain't got them shook no more. I mean, shit, they were, man. I'm trying to tell you, in the '80s and in the '90s, they were terrified of us. It's like the fearful splaining of not. Oh, I'm not racist. I mean, it's not like the condescending, off-putting that they do today. I mean, it was actual fear. Rael just put an article in. He just let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Hyper catastrophic impact exceeding third power says B dubs are very easily manipulated by the powers that be, and 80% of black children grew up in single mother homes. E- Hence, easy votes for the Democratic Party. Gentlemen rated, why don't WS go to the hood? Why do their lice infested losers pick on soft targets? Well, there's your answer right there. The question answers itself. Hold on, let me see if I can pull up this article Rael put into the chat. Just bear with me one moment. And guys, if you are in the chat, I mean, if you're in the clouds and you're not subbed to this channel, please do so. Because I'm gonna tell you, like, one of my long-term goals, for real, is to be a part of building a better manosphere, a stronger manosphere. You know, and I'm not saying that you guys should be satisfied. I mean, you should be dissatisfied. I mean, but let's be realistic. You know, the dream, the dream is to have a better space, right? Let me see. Let me see. Let me pull this article up. Oh, okay. Shit. Rael found the article. We share his screen real quick. Okay. Now, hopefully all of y'all can see that. Let me blow it up a little bit. I cannot wait to get a new laptop. It'll, or a new computer set up all together. And this headline reads: Trump pledges to make Juneteenth a federal holiday, designate KKK a terrorist group, and pitch to black voters. Mm. Now, like not even, well, there was murmurings at one point, and I got, like I say, I got to be brutally honest here. There was murmurings at one point that Obama wanted the KKK to have a registry so we would know um, who they were and how to move about once they were exposed. But that fell to the cracks real quick. And he was supposed to be that guy, but he never was. Now they're saying Trump pledges to make Juneteenth a federal holiday and designate KKK a terrorist group to in pitch to black voters. Wow. I mean, that will probably have been the best attempt at getting rid, not really getting rid of the KKK, but let's face it, y'all. The Ku Klux Klan is the biggest terrorist group ever in American history, a domestic terrorist group, and they never got the flack like that. Never. They never got the flack. But shoot, let me see. Let me refresh the page. They've gone to another video, but look. Let me read the article. I guess we can just reading the article is the next best thing. So President Trump on Friday made a direct appeal to black voters with a slew of targeted policy pledges if he's reelected in November, including making Juneteenth a federal holiday and prosecuting the Ku Klux Klan as a terrorist organization. Trump, speaking to supporters in Atlanta, unveiled what he dubbed the Platinum Plan for Black voters, outlining what a second term policy agenda could look like for African Americans. The plan leans heavily on economic proposals such as tax cuts for minority owned businesses, focus further on opportunity zones that encourage investment in low income areas, and additional money for broadband and internet access to foster jobs and educational opportunities. Certain proposals, such as making Juneteenth, which commemorates the end of slavery, a federal holiday, will require congressional approval. The campaign event, hosted by Black Voters for Trump, featured several prominent Black public figures, including Housing and Urban Development Secretary Ben Carson and Heisman Award winner Herschel Walker. Yeah, those yeah. The president, who's trailing in the polls to Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden, has recently upped his courting to black voters, a crucial voting bloc. The Republican National Convention program last month featured a number of speakers who pushed back against characterizations of the president as a racist. Let's see. Said, let me read this. And we've even said this many times. Oh shit. Yeah, this is a very important part of this article. No one in Washington politics today has done more to hurt African Americans than Joe Biden, Trump said, hitting the Democratic nominee for his role in the 1994 crime bill and trade policies that he argued damaged the economy for black Americans. The president also hit Biden for his comments earlier this year: if that African American supported Trump, you ain't black. That was the one, like, when he said that, you said that if you have a problem between voting me or Trump, then you ain't black. I thought we'd have been smart enough to see through the whatever smoke screen that he was trying to put up, but obviously we weren't. But thank you for that article, Rael. It said, Kev, if you could Thanos snipe, well, I'm sure you meant snap the black man and make the black manosphere how you like it, what would be your first order of business? Whew, wow, that's a heck of a question right there. Because one thing about me is, you never want to abandon the concept of free will. But if I could Thanos snap it and make it how I wanted to make it, uh, I would really just fortify the space and get every guy on page. I mean, we don't all have to agree, but when there are attacks on the space and attack on black men speaking and black male thought, this is one thing that we need to get on code with. Uh, Indigenous TV, get rid of SBE. SBE is pretty cringy, but are we gonna do it? Are we gonna get rid of SBE just for men who trying to shame women into submission, or are we gonna get rid of shaming language altogether? Shaming language, saying that things to the guys as well, such as you guys are just upset because you're not getting any pussy, or you guys are gay, all this other crap, or the or the or the simping. Well, it's like that. That's a slippery slope. Yeah, it's a really slippery slope when you start talking about shaming and such. All like for real, like after all of the stuff we observed and these women celebrating a black man's death, like I said, it didn't start with KS and it's not going to end with KS. It was almost as if like I was like dudes can like say what the fuck they want to say, and I've never been against that for real, trying to sway them a certain way by talk, I guess trying to cross examine motherfuckers and trying to get them to see, try to get them to see where their area is when they clearly don't care. I mean, that will probably be problematic within itself because, uh, for real, anybody doing that is just wasting their time at this point. Oh, here we go, indigenous. Thanos snapped the old heads trying to sun younger dudes because they were around during the civil rights movement. I won't say any names. You know, the civil rights movement was going in a right direction, but I think one single event is what made it a failure. The signing of the Civil Rights Act. It was like just because you saw Lyndon Baines Johnson and Martin Luther King shake hands that all of our problems were over with. It seemed like our problems had begun anew. And Rael says indigenous say the names they don't deserve to be hidden. They had no problem calling us extras the lost generation. Ugh, wow, wow. Each one of us, each one of our generations have had each one of us generations have had certain issues though. So let's see. Raya also says, gentlemen, those same Confederate voters voted for Obama his first term, and uh, when he lost him, he switched to the LGBTQ crowd to make up their loss. Yeah. One thing I say I didn't like about Obama generally, and I mean I voted for him both times, but when he threw black fathers under the bus, I didn't like that at all. I ain't like that at all. It actually made me, you know, think of him as like a president for the feminist. And then when he went like full LGBTQ, like a lot of people, and I don't know if y'all remember this, started to call him the first gay president. Gentleman rated says, "I wonder how many divestors were taken out in Buffalo, New York. Will they report it? You know damn well them divestors ain't gonna report on their precious zaddy." Right, the civil rights bill effectively undermined the power of black male vote. It was a ruse we didn't need. A voting rights bill when the 15th Amendment guaranteed our right to vote. Orlando's, but black fathers threw themselves under the bus though. How? Hey, explain to me how black fathers threw themselves under the bus. The hybrid catastrophic impact X83rd Power says he caters so much to women at the expense of men, especially black men. Indigenous TV said, I never liked how in the space we bent the need of fake scholars, women, subscriber count, and old ninjas. Like we like off rip, we just assume that's something we should show something we should show respect to and never question. Look, let me tell you something that I was told in college. Man, this was back in the mid 90s. Question everything. Don't take everything like don't don't just roll with something. Like, well, like I said, people don't just roll with me. Said we have fathering problems just like black women have mothering problems. Well, I mean, look, if you try, like, okay, if you have unprotected sex and shoot up somebody's club, is that what you're talking about? Like, I mean, the fathering problem, comes from the fact that we don't stick to this. I would say one man, one woman, one child. Anybody with a slick tongue can get a lot of girls pregnant, and then these women not really nurturing their children. I mean, if you're talking about that, no, I could probably more so roll with that. Oh, Deesky Vili, what's going on? Good to see you. As that Rael said, according to the CDC, black fathers are the best. Stop the cap, bro. And Deesky said, I don't like that old nigga talk. It's actually feminist. It's basically saying there is no wisdom from our older brethren. Greatest out of respect, though. They always got to bring men into the conversation of women who fall short. How about allowing women to hold their L's without? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then it said, Kev, I know people don't like when I go after the avid ninja who teaches in the AARP temple, but when he told brothers to vote for Biden and take the jab, no one questioned him. Why? Because he's 65. Uh, I wouldn't take, like, me, I wouldn't take the jab because I didn't trust the jab. And look, there's some personal feelings about that, which, I mean, it didn't necessarily impact me. I mean, because I didn't take the jab, and I'm still not going to take the jab. It's because someone else in my life took the jab, and now they're not here anymore. So, Deesky Veely, is it good to see you? I may disagree, but I'm on code with you, brothers. Thanks for the super chat, and as always, everybody, thanks for your support with the super chats and the cash apps. They are much appreciated, and believe me, I'm working toward making a better channel for you guys to come to every Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I mean, and whatever the future holds. I mean, because I do believe that, like, for the ones that do support me, you deserve a better platform out of me, or an ever evolving platform. However, catastrophic impact, X83rd Power says 54% of black men are single and childless, 30% of black men are married, uh, a small percentage of black men are sexually irresponsible, but a large percentage of black women are sexually responsible. Don't say that. We don't want you to get jumped. Yeah, but yeah, I'll tell you about a mistake I made the other day. I tried to go on a female's platform. I did have a short term matter that I had to take care of, so I couldn't finish what I was saying. But there was a female in the space that she would just talk. You know how some of these females get. They hop from panel to panel and they start talking at dudes. So but she couldn't get me out of my character, and I was only able to talk to her for a couple minutes. But I told her that, I told her that she needs to work on her delivery. And when she started talking, I understood what brothers meant by like, t- by having caution as to letting females on a panel in a space like this. And I mean, girl, old home girl was just like, and she was talking at me, and she was just trying. I guess she was trying to get me to melt down and cuss her out. I mean, first of all, let me tell y'all something about me. I don't care about bitches like that. Seriously, I don't. Is like I'm not gonna sit here and have an immature back and forth with a female that is really trying to get me out of character. It's not gonna happen. And I mean, like, if a female really tries to get me out of character, she's going to fail. Period. I believe in most of all when I do these broadcasts, I believe in having a calm demeanor. I believe that's what my contribution is to this space, to show you guys a calm, collected black man that can talk to you guys in a cool, respectful manner. And I do understand it's harder to get traction that way. It really is. But I'm gonna give you one of my favorite acronyms: IDGAF. It will work, and it really is starting to work. So, I mean, this is what I want guys to understand. It's like, in order to get our messages out, we don't have to have shouting matches. We don't have to curse. We don't have to disrespect each other. Because, unlike the Miss Andress, I believe that men are better. I believe that we are better at this and better at getting our messages out. We are more we're supposed to be more mature. And believe me, I'm not saying let's be pushovers. What I'm saying is let's show them that we are better than them on a regular, constant basis. When there is correction needed, of course, we can go to that. We can go and we can default to that correction. I mean, don't be a pushover. Don't be a pussy. Have a spine. Like I have to tell some of these guys around here, grow some nuts. Don't be afraid to say what you need to say. At the same time, though, is like, look, we are better than them. As a group of collected black men, we're better than them. Believe me, our talk is way less talk. Far less toxic than divester talk. Your normal average B dub on these platforms, we are better and our arguments are more concise. We don't need to be at each other's throats all the time. But we're not monolithic, so there's always going to be differences here and there. Let's see. Indigenous TV said Rael, he got on Doc Thunder's panel and tried to sun Ramil. Dude was sounding mad, condescending. Ramil is smart. Just because he's young doesn't automatically mean he's naive. Yeah, I, Ramil, I'm kind of on the fence with some of the stuff that he says. That's just me. But at the same time, at least Ramil sticks to his guns. I'll say that much. Nolan Batiste says men have to be strong when it comes to women that have misandry behaviors. One thing that you have to understand about that, and I do agree with you, Nolan Batiste, is that they come in saying certain things to us to throw us off of our game. And it was something told to me a while back by a content creator who I wouldn't work with to save my life today. I wouldn't do it. We were kind of cool back then, but when she revealed herself to be who she is, I wouldn't work with that bitch for nothing in this world. I can't do it. Like that'll be something that'll be against my principle at this time. But she said one of her techniques was if she was losing an argument, that she would start throwing insults and started basically acting like a misandrist just to throw the guy off his game. So that's one thing you have to understand. They say things to get you triggered. So you'll be so you, if you were displaying intelligence and you were acting smarter than them, then you look like shit. So definitely watch for that. Who I'm talking about? Hurry up and buy. What's going on, man? If you really want to know, I'll give you a clue. Crackhead pussy. See what y'all made me do. And man said, Indigenous TV. He said, I know you don't share my sentiment. I'm not trying to put you in the middle of my issues with him and the other old heads. I just believe they need to pass the baton. I mean, but see, here's the thing, Indigenous TV. You're allowed to have your opinion here. It's like you're not putting me at odds with anybody. I mean, it's like I'm look. It's like this. Is I try not to let people influence me to do things that I don't want to do, but at the same time, you have your opinion, and there's a lot of things that goes on in this space that I don't see. Now, I will say this that this Lotus Scalper, what's going on? I'll say this: I was invited on that panel with Doctor Thunder, but I was trying to get my mic to work, and it just was not working. So that's why I didn't go on that panel. That same panel that you guys were just talking about, Doctor Thunder. I don't know if y'all remember this. If you were watching that broadcast, he invited me up to that panel too. I just wouldn't go up there because, like I said, I was having technical difficulties, and it just wasn't in place for me to really just go on up there and say what I needed to say without things going wrong. But I did have a couple of I did have a couple of opinions that I would have liked to share. And it is what it is at the end of the day. I mean, if I get it, if I get it, I kind of got my technical difficulties worked out, but it is what it is. Maybe another opportunity will arise. But Doctor Thunder is pretty cool people. Yeah. So let me just do this real quick. Like I said, you guys, if you are new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 4K. Uh, it's like I said, I've gone 3K, but it's like this 925 subs to go before I hit 4K. So this is something that I'm going to do on a regular basis, and I'm going to keep you guys updated on the growth of this channel. And really, shit, I should say this. Let me do this real quick. Show y'all something real quick. Because we should always think big. Shit, 6,925 subs to go before 10K. Now, my theory is how I should make that happen is I probably would have to go on a lot more than what I'm doing right now. That's number one. Number two, increase my production value by actually camming up, having a good look. Not trying to rip from anyone or anything like that. 'Cause it's not like I'm going to get a lava lamp and a little desk thing with a balancing act like KS or anything like that. But I mean, YouTube does appreciate production value. That's one thing that I would say. So it's gonna have to be a little bit more than just talking through an avatar on StreamYards. Even though the avatar, this is my actual face, and you guys have seen my face before. It's just that I believe that you guys deserve a little bit more. So it'll come in time, but you know, I'll tell you this much: there are some presentations that I do like that doesn't necessarily cam up, like Green Gorilla. He's definitely a guy. When I listen to him, I can follow his conversations like very good, and the way that his stuff is set up. I think he uses OBS. He has a really good presentation. If you were just going to use an avatar, my suggestion is you get like Green Gorilla. All right, Marco Ross. Appreciate the super sticker. You know, and once again, uh, you guys, thank you for your support. Cash App is going across the bottom of the screen, and thank you for your support on the super chats as well. Much, much, much appreciated. Yeah, let me show y'all Green Gorilla. Not meaning to really promote another YouTuber, but let me show Green Gorilla's channel real quick. Let's see. Let's see. Let me share the screen real quick. Like promoting another YouTuber, not promoting another YouTuber. Shit. If you guys choose to watch me, you choose to watch me, and that's just how it is. But this is his channel right here. Yeah, he's one of the PhD guys, and he, like I said, just when you have the time, go check him out. Like I said, he's one of the ones that he just uses an avatar. He doesn't cam up, but if I could find out how he does things or what system that he uses, it'll make my presentation that much better. So just go check him out sometime. You ain't got to check him out now, but mm, yeah. But anyway, I think I've carried this one as far as I can go. Is I know that. Look, I made this broadcast specifically to talk about the misandry. Well, I first made this broadcast just to say that hoes be lying, but that's not something that is really a huge secret. We when we try to focus on like narratives that make us look better, we ain't necessarily got a lie, you know. And the fact of the matter is, across the board, that we're kind of being dishonest with ourselves, and we just need to get a little better at this. But anyway, I'm tired. I thank you guys once again for joining me on these broadcasts. Is much appreciated. And for those of you who tune in, every weekend, tomorrow, like I said, will probably probably be my, unless something else major happens, will probably be my final Kevin Samuels focused broadcast. But I just want to address the hate one more time. And I'm sure you guys can understand that because those like that, if that ain't a big ass example of misandry that is against not only Kevin Samuels, but black men in general, I do not know what to tell you guys. But say, anybody got some quick questions before I sign out of here? That's it. That rented room scandal, man. Good. Like, I'll talk about that tomorrow night. Greg, what's going on? Shoot, good to see you again, brother. Yeah, I'm a member of Green Gorilla's channel as well. Indigenous TV dudes are being petty about that, Kev. Yeah, they being petty about it. They can't help themselves. That's that HNIC complex. But like I said, I'll get more in debt to that tomorrow night. But basically, I'm just gonna tell everyone is just let the man rest. He's gone. It's a tragic thing. Uh, by the way, I like that episode of Atlanta. Yeah, I mean, it was a great episode, but just go before y'all come to this broadcast tomorrow night. Go ahead and check out that Atlanta episode with Kevin Samuels in it. And it's a shame because it shows you that he was just getting started. So yeah, that's right. Hurry up and buy. Niggas ain't got nothing better to talk about than a video that's 2 or 3 years old. So anyway, that's it for now, guys. I got to go to bed. I'm becoming a little bit lethargic, so I don't want to just start rambling and be like rah 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 and all this other shit because you never know. But anyway, that's it right now. Long live the habitual line steppers and Kev we trust. I am gonna win. We're gonna win. Till the next time.